tuned in to the cold, hard truth. Cayman's #1 hard-hitting live podcast show, where we feature some straightforward conversations on political, social, and celebrity news and all things happening in the Cayman Islands and around the world. This show was created to give the people a voice and a means of being involved and informed without any filters. Sometimes it gets crazy, but we always keep it real. We bring you the tea, piping hot, so grab your favorite beverage and join the conversation via WhatsApp at 324-1612. Email tips@CaymanMarlRoad.com. Now, here's your host, Sandy Hill, broadcasting live from the beautiful Cayman Islands.
Charles, I can say two things to you. Quick time. If you will come to the gym and work out, please just work out. Please don't go in each corner and yabba yabba to different people, because all it's doing is creating animosity in the gym. All right? Someone sent me the post that you sent on social media talking about SEBA and whatnot. My vote was the final vote that did what it did, okay? So at the end of the day, if y'all don't know something, please email the board and ask the board the question of what happened.
First of all, let's get right. I'm a grown man. Jaden is a grown man. If me and Jaden have a grown man conversation, that you can't tell me who to talk to.
I'm not saying who you should talk to. Well, if you notice what I just said, I said if you're going to come in the gym. Who did you see me talk to? Who did you see me talk to? I see you. Listen, if you're going to come in the gym,
I'm going to come into the gym.
If you're going to come into the gym and work out, do your workout. But stop going around talking crap about the board and about the association.
You guys are using this place for your own personal interest.
Ain't you using it for your personal interest here? You come up in here. No. Have you come in here and picked up a mop or
you all are using it for your own enrichment.
Let me tell you something. You continue, if you continue to slander the gym or SEBA or the association, I will make sure that you get suspended from using the gym.
Please, which one of you motherfuckers gonna do that? Bitch, please. The fuck up my face, bitch, please.
You know what? You're banned. You're banned.
Stop me.
I bet
Stop
you.
me. I'll be here tomorrow, bitch. I'll be here tomorrow.
I'll be here tomorrow with the police. Be here with the police.
I'll be here tomorrow.
Be here with the police.
All of this
You
Be here with the police.
You'll be here with the Queen of
Be
England.
here with the
Get the fuck up
police.
my face.
I ain't in your face, boy. You in mine. Who you think you
What's the
are?
argument about? Right? Nasiba, right? The boxers came on boxer, right? What is this? What is this about?
That's him.
Me.
That's
Who-
him.
You
That's
come
him.
outside,
I
tell me
said, let me
about
talk to
banning
you.
me from this
But
motherfucker.
whatever.
Let me tell you something.
Let me tell you
Nobody.
I said, if you
Nobody.
keep
I
slandering
said you
Siva,
are
you will
nobody.
be no longer
You-
allowed to enter the gym.
You are
XYZ.
nobody.
I am
You
somebody
are
more better
nobody.
than you.
You
I
are
am
nobody.
someone better than you.
That's
That's all I gotta say. Like I said,
I didn't say you're nobody. I
try
said
it
you
again.
are no one.
Try it again.
You are
all
no
I
one.
said
To
is
stop me
try
from
it
coming to
again.
this gym.
All
Remember
I
that.
say is try it again.
Don't push me.
Try it again. Try it again. Try it again. She is not pushing you.
We are not touching anything. You are nobody.
And who are
to stop me
you?
from coming from this
Who
gym.
are you?
Okay.
Like I said, slander Siba's name again,
I said
and you will no
are
longer
using
be
this gym.
allowed to
You are
be in the
using this
gym.
gym for your own
I already
enrichment.
said what
You-
I said.
I said what I
You
said.
too, because
You
you
guys
ain't
be
never
using
picked
this
up a
for
broom or a mop a day in your life up in this gym. All you do is come and use the gym. So if anybody using the gym, it's your black behind. Oh, shut up. You're just a fool.
I can't do that.
Huh?
I can't do that right now.
So what?
I can't do that.
Can't do what?
Can't lock the door.
Lock the door.
Pick up your weights. Let's go.
Sebi?
Pick up your weights. Come on.
Gotta put a rock in him. He's going and he's going right through the pressure.
Come on, push.
Keep doing it. One line. Kurt, Floyd is here Charles is here breaking down the door. Literally throwing bricks at the door. I called the police, but they're on the way. Okay, bye. Yo, unlock the door.
He's not
Well,
coming around, man.
I'll lock it.
Yeah, he coming on, he coming on, he coming on.
Are you fucking serious?
He's getting a pull.
This is going on here, man. I'm on a road.
We can't let it reach social media, dude.
Yeah, no, we
This can't get. This is only evidence.
Why is he so ignorant, though? Like,
The door and
yo, if I say you need me that back door, okay. If you come charge up in that state.
yes.
A whole, what the hell?
Okay. All right. Keep recording.
You tired now? Gee.
See, you get to work up one.
Mm-hmm. See the workout there? You should- Idiot. Yeah. There's kids outside, yo. There's kids outside.
Standing watching. Just keep recording. Fucking police take forever to be here.
I don't think you can break through now because the glass has plastic.
Keep recording him, you hear? Keep recording him. 525-8685. Yep. I'm inside the gym. I'm the operations manager. Thank you. Keep recording. And this is all in front of the kids. We call Kurt. Don't open the door. Sorry, you will have to stay in for a little bit.
You come in now. Yeah, yo.
No, let him do it. Let him do it. Keep recording. Keep recording.
Why he doing this though?
Open the door for her to get in. She need to get in.
Yo, what are you doing? What the hell?
Keep doing it. I'm going live.
Go live?
Kurt, Floyd is here. Charles is here breaking down the door. Literally throwing bricks at the door. I called the police, but they're on the way. Okay, bye.
Where he went? He not coming around, man.
I'll lock it.
He coming around. He coming around. What the hell, yo?
He came right over? Are you fucking serious?
Shit. This is going on camera. I'm on road. Nah, we can't.
This is only evidence.
Why he so ignorant though? Like, yo, if anything, we need a back door now. Because if he come charge up in a stick.
Yes.
A whole, what the hell? I got nothing.
You tired now?
Tired now. See, get your workout going.
See the workout there?
Get your face on. Get your face. Yeah? Good thing we took them out, cause
Just keep recording. And the police take forever to be here.
I don't think you can break through nothing.
You can't break through.
Plastic.
Watch her. Go postal clot. Watch her.
Recording, guys.
Don't fuck with me. I told you stupid motherfuckers. No, to keep me at the fucking gym.
We'll see. The police is on its way, Charles.
I don't give a fuck about the police. Fuck you, I'm the police, bitch.
I know.
I'm going outside.
Huh? It's not about that, Dariel. When someone threatens you, you keep them out. There's a difference. There is a difference. You are in my face. It's all recorded. The police is on its way, Charles.
I don't give a fuck about the police. Fuck you, I'm the police, bitch.
I know. Huh? It's not about that, Dariel. When someone threatens you, you keep them out. There's a difference. There is a difference. You are in my face. It's all recorded, Charles. It's all been recorded. The police is on its way. The police is on the way. The ministry is on its way. Everybody's on the way. They are already on the way.
Call him over now. Here,
Whatever. There are kids outside. There are kids outside.
Yeah.
And there were kids in the parking lot when you were going on with your antics yesterday.
Because of you.
I don't care.
How the fuck you
I
gonna tell
said
me
to you.
who I could talk to?
I said
I'm
to
a
you.
grown man, Tracy.
I'm a grown woman.
Who you?
I'm a grown woman.
I didn't say what
I'm
word to you.
a grown
How you
woman.
gonna come tell me
came out
who
there
I can
and
talk
said,
to?
Anyways.
Who are you gonna tell me who I can
Charles.
talk to?
Anyways.
How are you gonna tell who the fuck is you?
Anyways, I am Tracy Ann motherfucking Seymour. That's who the fuck I am.
You fucking
all right? I
you
bet you
sellout.
coming out here. I ain't no damn sellout.
I bet you not.
You are. You
Let me
are.
tell you something.
You
What
are
you doing?
ignorant.
I didn't do anything.
I wish you would touch me.
That nigga do you anything? Nigga do you anything? Ain't nobody afraid of
I'm
you.
just waiting for that to pop off. I ain't afraid of you.
And I told you motherfuckers, ain't nobody keep you. I'll come back here and burn this motherfucker to the ground. Anybody
Keep
try
recording.
record that. Anybody try to keep Charles Edwards Whitaker out of this gym, I will come back here and I will burn you recording?
Yeah, we met me.
I will burn this motherfucker to the ground.
How old are you? How old are you?
Fuck you.
How old are you? How old are you?
Motherfucker didn't
How
teach me nothing
old
to
are
build
you?
this.
How old are you? There are kids literally outside watching you go on with your antics. You're supposed to be a goddamn role model. Instead, you look like a goddamn animal, an imbecile.
That's all right. You learn. Like everybody else
You learn. You will learn. Because we pressing charges now. You're an idiot and a fool, Charles. Instead of you doing something for this damn gym, you have all this mouth. Not once have you picked up a mop or a broom in this gym. Not once.
None of you.
Not once.
None of
You don't come in
None
here
of
to
you have
help
contributed
anyone
what I have
in
contributed
this
this.
gym. Not
You
one
are
of you
all-
has
none of
contributed.
you.
If y'all want to see a change, y'all asses should have been become
None of
board
you.
members.
None
But
of
y'all
you are this-
motherfuckers
none of you.
keep coming
None
in
of
this
you
gym,
has contributed
running your
nothing.
mouth, talking about this,
Contributed
that.
nothing
If you
to
wanted
this
to
gym.
do something,
None of you have
you
contributed
should have
nothing.
come in and been on
Touch
the
me.
board.
Hold on.
I ain't fucking touching you.
None of you have contributed what I
Get
have
your
contributed.
black
For you
ass
to come
out
out
this
there.
gym,
But
you
nobody
fucking
locked me
fool.
out of this motherfucker.
I
I'm telling
just did.
you.
You
Nobody.
gonna come out this gym. You're
on.
gonna come
No,
out this
bet you
gym.
not. I will
Bet
come
you.
back. Listen,
Bet you today.
As there is a God
I
in
don't
heaven.
care, Charles.
any
You
police-
are and an
Any government authority try to keep me on this gym.
You're
I will come back
imbecile.
here.
You're an imbecile. Don't touch her. Don't you dare put your hands on her. Don't. This is the second time you don't touch none of my boxes in here, boy. Don't touch her. Don't touch her. You put your hands on one of these girls again, I will break your fucking hand, boy. Don't touch her.
You made no
Don't do
50%.
that shit.
Hey, I put my teeth in the car. What's wrong with you? I put my teeth in the car. I put my teeth in the car.
Charles, stop. Charles.
Anyone in the hit me? If you hear me by my
Charles.
No, I'm just giving him the key, let him put it.
Charles?
Now put the fucking handcuffs on me, Lord.
Charles, come on, Charles. Charles, this isn't necessary, Charles. Charles, this is not necessary.
Let's walk to the car.
I walked into the car.
Hey, you don't go to the car and get
I
out.
walked to the car.
He going to let's go touch me, man. He going to he get in the car. He's going to the car. Alright, hold on. He not break one window. He just break a window. Get in the car, Charles. He don't need no cup for that. Don't you call him nothing. The man going in the car. Charles, you have to put on the car. Oh, let me relax.
Good morning, everyone. Wow. Well, we're here to discuss it. Let me just put on my mic properly. My apologies. I was sitting there watching it because obviously this is quite a crazy situation that happened in our community yesterday, and we're going to have to discuss it. I mean, there's no two ways around this. So let us begin. See a lot of your comments. There's so many comments already, to be honest, that I do not have time to read them individually, but I do see them, and we will discuss them as we go through the morning segment. Where do we begin with this one? First of all, let me give you guys a little bit of background information that I am aware of. So, as you guys know, obviously I get a lot of information if and when it's breaking. And this incident was no different. I received a call yesterday afternoon at, let me tell you guys what time that would have been yesterday. I received a call at about 4:27 p.m. to say, Sandy, there's a situation at the boxing gym right now, happening right now with Charles, and he is going crazy and he is destroying the boxing gym property. And I thought to myself, right. I was actually literally walking in the door to a meeting, so there was that. But I also thought to myself, if I go to the location and start filming or covering this live, this is going to escalate even further. Because you've got to know that certain actions do have a tendency to escalate a situation, just like other actions can de-escalate a situation. So in the moment, I thought it was best that I go to my meeting and stay focused. And I said, okay, this is obviously going to be huge. And I knew that there was video footage immediately. And I knew that it was only a matter of time before I would receive that footage and be able to really put it together in a more holistic manner. And I think that we still don't have the full story here. Like, I am definitely waiting to hear from Charles. I'm sure that Charles will give us an interview about what transpired and what led up to this. But the other thing that occurred to me early on is, remember on Monday, we had Mr. Woody Foster in the program, and he was talking about that grocery store video that went viral and how that story, as with many viral videos, didn't exactly tell the full story, right? So in that instance, a woman had been asked to come back, or she was asked in the store to have her items checked, and she refused to do that, walked off from security, and then escalated it to being an incident in the parking lot that was then caught on camera. So I feel like this is another one of those situations where we have what we obviously see, but there's a lot more to this that we do not see. So first of all, let me be very, very clear. I saw someone on Instagram said, oh, Sandy hasn't shared this video because her and Charles are friends. That's the most ridiculous comment ever, because you guys know friends, foe, family, you're all going to be covered. If you do anything that puts you in the spotlight, this is obviously news, whether you like it or not. It's not the best of news, and I don't really take any pleasure in reporting on things like this. You know, I actually feel really sad when I have to report on situations like this, because these are Caymanians, just like me and just like you. And it breaks my heart to see two Caymanians going at each other as they were in this video. And there were children that would have been seeing this. You know, there were other young Caymanians who were there watching. We see the other young boxer there. At one point, he's like, you know, why did you guys lock him out of the gym? That's just wrong. And then Tracy starts to address him. So it's embarrassing. I think there's more than one party at fault here. And I think at this point, people, as just from the comments that I've seen, automatically take a side. And I can see that Charles was wrong 1,000%. And I can also see that Tracy Seymour was also wrong 1,000%. So I want to hear from Charles, and we're going to talk about some of the back and forth that went on in this video. But I'd like to hear a little bit more from him to try to figure out what led up to this. Because here's what I know, and we've all been there, right? you get to a breaking point when you just go off. Now, I can be a very calm person, but I also have a breaking point. And I hate to see injustices done to myself or other people. And will I use all sorts of words, profane and otherwise, when I'm at that point, that boiling point where I'm just like exploding? Of course I will. I gotta tell you about your mama, your daddy. I gotta bring in the dog into the story, like everything. So I get how a situation could get to this point. We're all human beings, and I could definitely see, I don't know, months of attitude. Obviously, Charles wasn't happy, and that's why he took to his social media account. There must have been a reason why he was calling these people racist, whether they are or not. He felt that there was some sort of treatment of him that was happening that wasn't right. Now, you guys know, I often talk about in this program, the things that in a moment like this that kind of define you. It's not even in that moment, it's what you've done before and leading up to that moment. So when you're in the hot seat and your temperature is boiling and you explode, most of us know that you have to address it before you get to that point, because then it's too late. Once you've exploded like that, it's really difficult to de-escalate that situation. And I do want to talk about Tracy's behavior, because Tracy's behavior did anything but de-escalate the situation. Now, for clarity, she is the gym manager. And the way that she handled this was poor. And I'm going to tell you in a minute what I think should be the consequences for her actions as well, because clearly she cannot handle any tumultuous situation in a professional manner at work. So my understanding is Charles is still in custody. He will probably end up going to court today. They will probably release him with very strict bail conditions, which I'm sure will include not stepping foot on the property. But there's so many questions that I have that I really hope that Charles is minded to give us an interview so that all of you can hear exactly what led up to this. So that was yesterday afternoon. All those videos, there was actually 6 videos in total that we received. And what we did was just for being able to watch it, we put them together as a singular video in the order in which it appeared that they happened. Andrew says he's getting some feedback. Anybody else getting feedback? But when she first approached Charles and she said her first comments about what you posted on your social media account. Now, I had heard that she had addressed it the day before or something, and she may have tried to talk to him more one-on-one. I don't know exactly how that was done, because you see, we don't have that in video. So I can't speak to how that was delivered and how that was done. What I can tell you is the way that she approached him at the beginning of this video, where she essentially said, if you have an issue with us, that already was unnecessary and over the top. If someone is posting something on social media about you or your organization and you have an issue with it, that's not how you handle it. I got to be very, very honest with you. You don't walk up to them after they've just been pumping and working out and whatever. I see Monica's comment here. It says, why do people automatically blame her for confronting him? To begin with, she clearly asked him to stop with certain behavior. Then she banned him, and then it escalated. But this is outrageous to say the least. Well, Monica, the thing is how she did it. The fact that it was even being recorded says a lot about where this relationship was already. And if you felt like you needed to confront someone and record it, at that point, it seems to me that you probably should have had somebody else address the situation, or maybe certain board members of the Cayman Islands Boxing Association in conjunction with yourself as the facility manager. So I'm not sure that even the beginning of what I saw there is how it should have been handled. I think what should have happened, and again, timing is everything. And you guys hear me say this all the time. It is, she called him a child and many other things that we're going to discuss here in a second, but there is this overarching concern that people don't get the fact that timing is everything. So when you, for example, just a very simple example, because a lot of us have children, when you have a child and that child is in the middle of a meltdown and you're trying to take control of that situation, when you start yelling and screaming and hitting that child, does anybody really think that that takes control of the situation? That normally doesn't de-escalate the situation at all. The child starts screaming more, starts crying more, and then you're upset. You're at your breaking point. You're probably doing stuff that had you taken a moment and stepped back and been thinking a little bit more rationally, you would not have been engaging in that sort of behavior yourself. So when I say timing is everything, what I think should have really happened is she should have allowed Charles to go about his business in that moment and call a meeting, call him to the meeting, and discuss it at some other time. I don't know what sort of state of mind Charles would have been in after just pumping and working out. But let's be very honest here. Even from a physiological perspective, you go to the gym and you are working out, you're pumping testosterone into your system. And so for someone to approach you in an aggressive manner and start talking to you about your behavior, also in a public space, most of us probably would not have received that well and would have told her where she could go, just like Charles did. So I think from the onset, there's some concerns about how the situation was handled. Does that make what Charles did wrong? Absolutely not. It is clear that Charles has some anger issues. Where that stems from, I don't know. I think, as someone who has spoken to Charles on numerous occasions, I do know that he is very passionate and he has had a life that hasn't always been the easiest. And this is not an excuse, but these are possible explanations for his behavior in the sense that he has felt a lot of injustices. Charles lives between Cayman and the US. And he talks about, he has in the past with me, about being a Black man, not just in America, because that is a very interesting and different and probably unique experience, but also in the context of Cayman. So Chantal, I want to be very, very clear. I'm not making any excuses for his behavior. I think that all parties should have handled this very, very differently. He's like I said at the beginning of the show, he's 1,000% wrong. And I also think that how Tracy handled it was wrong as a facilities manager. And then there's a point of no return, right? So when she gets to the point of name calling him, yes, he called her a bitch. But when she goes to that place where she actually knows, because if you know Charles, you don't want to bring up you're a Black man, calling him you're a boy. Because I don't know, listen, if you've never lived in the States before, you probably don't really understand when someone calls you a boy, the context in which that's being said, because that has a racial connotation, although it's a very simple word. It's how it's being said and how it's being used. And you start talking about someone's skin color and how you're Black, you're this, you're that. Well, Tracy's probably Blacker than Charles. I mean, that should not have even entered the conversation, in my opinion. But again, this is when you get to this point of no return. And the only way you can avoid getting to that point of no return is probably from yesterday and even the day before. Because she's popping off. Like I said, we've all been there. So I also understand her behavior, because we've been in situations where every single word, that every insult that is possible is going to come out of her mouth, because you're past that point of no return. And the objective really is to try to not get there, to de-escalate the situation. And sometimes you just have to walk away. If you call the police, you don't continue engaging him, you just walk away. The other question that comes up is, why was the facility locked? Like, I don't know when they had a discussion with him the day before about his social media posts. Was there some sort of notice that was given to him in writing, I would hope, that said, you're no longer welcome to this facility? You've been banned from this facility? Did the board, the Cayman Islands Boxing Association, come to that conclusion? Because if they didn't, then who can make a decision about banning you from a government facility? Now, you see, this was what happened to us the other day when we were protesting in East End. This is why people were so offended by Isaac's post that he was having a meeting for the people of East End only. We're like, you can have a meeting for whoever you want, but not at a government facility. So that government facility, you can't stop people who are being peaceful and obeying the rules and whatever from coming to a function that is held at that facility. Now, I get that you can rent it out for a purpose. So there are people who've had like weddings and whatever. And I guess you can say, okay, this is a closed function and that person isn't invited to a wedding. But technically, if I wanted to go hang out in the parking lot and peek through the window at your wedding ceremony or your reception, that is government property and we all pay for it. So I think people also get very, very upset when you tell them things like, this is a government property and you are not permitted to come on this government property for whatever reason. Now, compound that with his long history as a boxer and him having been involved with the Boxing Association previously. And what I understand a lot of people have said to me, even before yesterday, has been an encroachment of, the people who were initially involved in the Boxing Association no longer having the ability to participate, control, I don't know what you want to call it. So I think that there's been a lot brewing at that boxing facility and within the Boxing Association for a really long time. Charles was wrong. You cannot excuse his behavior. You can't give him right. He was 1,000% wrong. What is even worse is the fact that, yes, young people would have been watching this situation and the behavior of both parties, right? So even Tracy, I think, has an obligation as the facilities manager to do her best to try to ensure that her behavior, which is also being watched by other people, other young people, is as professional as possible. I see a lot of people saying that she provoked him because of how she was going on. Now, listen, if you have yourself together, there's nobody in the world that can provoke you. I want to be very clear about that, because the same way that I stood here and told you guys that there would have been no excuse for Mr. Bush's behavior, I'm saying the exact same thing about Charles. And I think that we have a lot of people in this community who are very much angry, and they carry around a lot of anger, and there are opportunities that present themselves that allows the anger to completely explode. And so I do think that's precisely what happened in this situation. But Charles should have known better as well. Had Charles had this conversation with Tracy the day before, And he was still feeling a way about it. All right. Because, you know, sometimes it takes us a minute to really address a situation internally. And your minute might be a literal minute, and your minute might be days, weeks, whatever. And I think that this is where you have to know yourself. If you are still upset about a situation, the worst thing for you to do, and this is where personal accountability is really important, is to put yourself back in that situation where you know anything that happens, anything that pops off, you are going to be like, you're going to lose it. And most of us know when we're getting to that point, right? And so again, avoidance can help to de-escalate a situation. What do those old people used to say? That you must run from trouble, not into trouble, right? So you have to know, as an adult, and Charles is, to the best of my knowledge, close to 50, and he's had a lot of worldly experience. You should know what your triggers are. And you should know to avoid any situation that is going to trigger you to the point where you cannot control yourself. Because I think everybody has a trigger point of going beyond the point of no control. Most of us might never get there. Most of us get there in private, so people don't get to see that side of you. But I also think that he had a responsibility to try to avoid this situation. Sharon Manson, what about freedom of speech? Why is she even reading his social media comments? That's a good question. I mean, if he calls the board racist and that's something that's defamatory or untrue, there are many ways to deal with that. But I also do have to wonder, why is it that the board or her as a facility manager is even reading Charles's post? And it doesn't sound like, when she first started out, it doesn't really sound like she read it. It sounds like she heard about it. And you know how here, say, come bring news kind of thing can go. Who knows what he actually wrote and who knows what she actually heard? But that, again, isn't the way to approach a situation. I mean, I don't even know if I would have said anything to him at the facility at all about this. Because as Sharon said, does he not have the right to say what he wishes to say within reason? And if it's defamatory, then you get a lawyer. You don't have your facilities manager approach him and say things like, let's just review this. I'm gonna rewind this a little bit. Because I want us to hear how this kind of started.
Who you should talk.
Let's just back up.
Jaden is a grown man.
Mm-hmm.
If me and Jaden have a grown man conversation, that you can't tell me who to talk to.
I'm not saying who you should talk.
So you see, even at that point, you know, Charles is actually relatively calm. He's like, how can you tell me who to talk to? What kind of conversations to have? You know, and let's listen to the tone of their voices. I want you guys to really listen to what happens here, because I think it's important that we understand how this kind of kicked off, right? So I'm going to just rewind it just a tad. So listen to the first bit of this.
Please just work out. Please don't go in each corner and yabba yabba to different people, because all it's doing is creating animosity in the gym. All right? Someone sent me the post that you sent on social media talking about SIBA and whatnot. My vote was the final vote that did what it did, okay? So at the end of the day, if y'all don't know something, please email the board and ask the board the question of what happened.
First of all, let me just right. I'm a grown man. Jaden is a grown man.
Mm-hmm.
If me and Jaden have a grown man conversation, that you can't tell me who to talk to.
I'm not saying who you should talk to.
Well,
if you notice what I just said, I said
who
if you're going to come in the gym,
who did you see me talk to? Who did you see me talk to?
I see you. Listen,
Who
if
did
you're
you see
going
me
to
talk
come
to?
in the gym,
I'm gonna come into the gym.
if you're going to come into the gym
I'm
and
gonna
work out, do your workout. But stop going around talking crap about the board and about the association.
You guys are using this place for your own personal interest.
Ain't you using it for your personal interest?
No,
Yeah?
you
come up in here. No.
for the government,
Have you come
for the
in here
development
and
of
picked
children.
up a mop or
You
a
all are using it for your own
come in
enrichment.
here and pick up.
This
Let me tell
facility
you
is
something.
being used
You
for your own
continue,
enrichment.
if you
And that-
continue
and
to
continue what?
slander the
Continue
gym
what?
or
Continue what?
SEBA or the association,
Continue what?
I will make sure that you get suspended from using the gym.
Please, which one of you motherfuckers gonna do
Me.
that?
Me.
Bitch, please.
And that is the point when Charles starts to go off, folks. When she says, because it starts off with not just about the social media posts. Listen very, very carefully to what she says, right? About him talking to people in the gym. And he's like, who are you to tell me who I can talk to in the gym? I'm an adult. The other person, whoever he is an adult. I can talk to whoever I want. And then she continues and says, and you can see where it's going, because then they start interrupting each other and nobody's listening at this point, right? And then she says, if you continue to do it, I'm going to have you banned from the gym. Because he says, you guys are using this gym for your own personal purpose. So obviously there's a lot here that is happening. Let me just see.
Don't fuck up my face, bitch,
Me.
please.
You know what?
Motherfucker,
You're
stop
banned.
me.
You're
Stop
banned.
me.
Fetch
Stop
you.
me.
All right. So right there, she says, you're banned. Right? You're banned. You're banned. You're banned. And I think that unfortunately, by her saying that is a real tipping point for him. Now, I don't know as a facility manager that she can just make a unilateral decision to ban him, because apparently she did it in that moment. She's like, you're banned, you're banned, you're banned. And let me be very honest with you, Charles has an extensive and long history with that facility. He's one of the pioneers with Mr. Dalmeen. He worked under Mr. Dalmeen. And, to help get boxing to even where it is in the Cayman Islands, he has trained a lot of young people. He has really committed his life to being a professional boxer when he was in that space. Obviously, he's no longer a professional boxer, but he's got the one of the highest records in terms of boxing and the titles that he held whilst he was boxing. So Linda, when she talks about her vote, I don't know what that's about, but it seems like they made some sort of decision previously that Charles wasn't happy with, and that's why he was calling them racist on his social media posts. I think his social media post was defending, or not defending, but addressing whatever that decision was. And so he was saying, oh, they're a bunch of racist people, blah, blah, blah. And that's why she said that as a Black Caymanian, that her vote was the deciding vote in relation to that. So she's basically saying, oh, don't put it on anybody else in the association. It was my vote that made that decision because I was the final vote. So let's continue listening, because I think we need to kind of break this down segment by segment in terms of exactly what happens.
Stop me, I'll be here tomorrow, bitch. I'll be here tomorrow.
I'll be here tomorrow with the police. Be here with the police.
I'll be here tomorrow.
Be here with the police.
All of this
You
Be here with the police.
You'll be here with the Queen of England.
So again, her approaching him as he was leaving the facility is completely wrong. That's not the time to approach anyone. So I think her approach was wrong. Obviously, when she started talking to him and it kind of got to a point, we see where he started out very calm, but he couldn't maintain it when she started saying stuff like, we're going to ban you from the gym. That appears to be his tipping point. But then the conversation continues because he's like, I'm going to come. And she says, yeah, you come. You come, because when you come, we're going to bring the police. Now, the question that I have about this situation, and this is where I need a little bit of clarity. This seems to me like this may have been, we can't really see, because see, this video is like a secret recording. He doesn't know that he's actually being recorded at this point, right? So it appears to me, and I'm going to clarify this, that this was the video that was actually taken the day before when she tried to address the situation with him. As a matter of fact, give me 1 second. I'm going to message my inside source. Today is what, Wednesday? So that would have been from Monday. So I think that was Monday's sensible conversation with him. And then the rest of what we see later on is when he comes back the day after, right? So yeah, this is the point. This is the point that I'm trying to make, Chantel. No one is going to give Charles right for what he did. But we also need to put everything in full context of what happened. Because when I tell you that we all have a breaking point, you see, I've just confirmed. So this video that we're watching now isn't part of what happened yesterday. This was what took place on Tuesday. Now, the description that I got is that on Tuesday, she had a private sit-down conversation with him. Folks, this is not a sit-down conversation. So you see how this happens on Tuesday, and then everyone is only sharing the video from yesterday when he smashed up the door. That's why I take particular offense to people on Instagram saying, well, you know, Sandy didn't share this video because that's her friend. No, that's not what happened at all. I had all 6 videos and I was trying to put the videos together to even try to understand what has transpired. So this video, which I'd heard about this sit down chat, proves that this wasn't a sit down chat at all. This was already a situation that was completely out of control from Monday. Now, what happened between Monday and Tuesday? Did the Boxing Association reach out to him to say, oh yes, Tracy told you on Monday that you're banned and you are actually banned and here's what we're going to do and Ray. It doesn't appear to me that any of that actually took place or happened. Let's continue listening, folks.
Here with the police.
My face.
I ain't in your face, boy. You in mine. Who you think you
What's the
are?
argument about, right? Nasiba, right? The boxers came on boxing, right? What is this? What is this about?
That's him.
This is me.
That's
Who-
him.
You
That's
come
him.
and
I
tell me
said, let me
about
talk to
banning me
you.
from this
But
motherfucker. Let me tell you
whatever.
something.
Let me tell you
Nobody.
Okay, so things like, who do you think you are, right? When someone else approaches and they're like, what is going on here? Why are you guys fighting going on like this? This is SIBA. This is the Boxing Association. She says it's him, putting the blame on him. So as I always say on this program, the devil is in the details. You have to really listen to what people said, how they say it, and in the context of everything that was happening. So this was a completely inappropriate conversation from Monday that should have, in my opinion, never taken place in this manner to begin with.
Nobody. I said you are nobody.
No longer allowed to enter the gym.
You are
XYZ.
nobody.
I am
You
somebody
are
more
nobody.
better than you.
You
I
are
am
nobody.
someone better than you.
I
That's all I gotta say. Like I said,
I didn't say you're nobody. I
try
said
it
you
again.
are no one.
Try it again.
You are
all
no one.
I said is try it again. All I
that.
say is try it again.
Don't push me.
Try it again. Try it again. Try it again. She is not pushing you.
I'm not touching anything. You are nobody.
And who are
to stop me from coming from this gym.
Who are you?
So at some point, someone starts to touch him. You heard that. And it apparently is a woman. He obviously did not respond in kind. And you know that when you start to put your hands on someone, it's going to be a problem. But in that moment, although somebody was touching him, and I don't know who that person was, he was still like, just don't touch me. Okay. She continues, who are you? Who are you? Now, let me understand this. If you were someone who founded an organization, you felt very, very passionate about boxing in the Cayman Islands and about this facility, that you felt like you were one of the pioneers and instrumental in getting to where it is, and someone starts saying to you, who are you? You know in your head exactly what you're thinking. Like, I would be like, who the F are you to ask me who I am? Like, where have you come out from, Johnny come lately, girlfriend? You know, I mean, let's just be very honest here. I'm thinking, well, as I'm listening to this, I am thinking, how would I have responded if someone was asking me these questions in this type of a situation? I'm just saying. I'm a founding member of maybe even the Boxing Association, put in a lot of work, sweat, tears to get boxing where it is in the Cayman Islands. Tracy is, I don't know, is she supposed to be some kind of boxer? It just seems like there's so much more going on here, and it is incredibly personal. So, and this first part of the video that we are watching, which a lot of people apparently do not have, is a direct recording of what she recorded on the Monday. So yes, this started from Monday. Originally, I was told that she had a sit-down conversation with him. This is not a conversation, really. This is an argument, and it's certainly not a sit-down conversation. And I've received so many comments about Tracy. Now, I don't personally know Tracy, but most people will accept that Tracy is a very aggressive person herself. So you take two people with a lot of aggression, just naturally in their personalities, and that's how some people are. I'm not saying that an aggressive personality is a horrible thing or whatever, but you put those two people together in an argument and you can see the explosiveness of exactly what transpires.
Okay.
Like I said, slander Seba's name again, and you will no longer be allowed to be in the.
So she already told him that he was banned, and then she goes back to say, like I said, slander their name again. So then the question becomes on Tuesday, because it's almost like she backtracks, like he's not really banned, but she's saying slander it again and you will be banned. So when he shows up yesterday, why wasn't he allowed in the gym? Because presumably he didn't slander their name again. I went on his Facebook and I didn't say anything about them. So why was he then being prevented from entering the gym yesterday? So these are all questions that only Charles or Seba can really answer, right?
Gym for your own
I already
enrichment.
said what I said.
What I
You
said.
too, because you ain't never picked up a broom or a mop a day in your life up in this gym. All you do is come and use the gym. So if anybody using the gym, it's your black behind. Oh, shut up. You're just a fool.
Okay, so this now is where, again, knowing what I know about Charles, calling the man a fool and saying you're black behind is beyond trying to address the situation. It looks to me like, based on the actual video here, now we're actually inside the gym. Let's continue watching, folks, because like I said, you got to pick this stuff apart. I saw somebody said, I'm coming with receipts. Listen, I'm just asking that all of us look closely at what transpired. Omar says that's assault. In fact, you can assault someone with your words, right? El Rey says, I would have lost it too. How many of you can honestly sit here looking at this a little bit closer and not recognize that most of you would have lost it? Now, would you have tried to rip down the front door? I don't know. Maybe not, because I probably could even lift up the center block, to be honest. So I may not have had that strength to even think that, okay, I'm going to try that. But how many of you would have been keeping your cool? Right? Now, this part of the video is from yesterday. So this is when he shows up now, and they got the gym locked and they're not going to let him in.
I can't do that.
Huh?
I can't do that right now.
So what?
I can't do that.
Can't do what?
Can't lock the door.
Lock the door.
Pick up your waist. Let's go.
So obviously this young man was, I think that's a young man, apologies if it isn't, was out back training, and Charles said, hey, can you open up the gym door? And he's saying, no, he can't do that. And he just returns to training. Let's continue to watch.
Sebi? Gotta put a rock in him. He's going and he's going right through the pressure.
Come on, push!
Okay, so obviously when we start to see this part of the video, we see now where Charles has already taken the center block and has started to try to break down the door so that he can get into the facility. No excuses for this, Charles. As your friend, as someone who would consider themselves to be your friend, this is where now you have crossed the line, regardless of what Tracy could have said to you. She could have called you a black monkey for all I care, or monkey's ass. This is government property. And if you worked so incredibly hard to build this, you would know the cost and the fallout of this type of behavior, honestly. We barely have facilities for our young people to go to because government always, spending money in the wrong places. So for you to take it out on the facility when your issues with Tracy, now I'm not saying you should have taken the block to Tracy's head, but I'm saying this response in this moment is not what you needed to do. You needed to walk away, get back in your car, go and cool down, right? And contact the association, request a meeting, email them, whatever. This is one of the worst things that you could have done. Destruction of the government facility or government property. Now, everyone is joking about this door. And this door, they're like, tell me who supplied this door, because this door can take some heavy licks. We see in this moment, folks, a man who is obviously very angry. And who is taking it out on the poor door. The door never did nothing to him. But look at how he smashes repeatedly this door.
Charles is here breaking down the door. Literally throwing bricks at the door. I called the police, but they're on the way. Okay, bye.
Yo, come on the store.
He's not coming around, man.
I'll lock it.
Come on, quick.
Yeah, he coming on, he coming on, he coming on. What the hell, yo?
Are you fucking serious?
He's getting a pull.
This is going on here, man. I'm on a road.
We can't let it reach social media, dude.
Yeah, no, we
This can't get. This is only evidence.
And of course, the little joke there about it gonna reach Cayman Mall Road. Well, you guys know that's a fact. It's always gonna reach Cayman Mall Road at the end of the day, right? I'm disappointed in Charles. I'm disappointed in Tracy. I'm disappointed in how a decision was made to lock him out of the gym, a government-ran facility. And I would like to see the minutes from that meeting where that decision was made. Why she locked the gym that day. Again, there's so many things that really led up to this moment that is wrong. So listen, Charles will have to deal with the consequences of his actions. Likewise, I think that Tracy should have to deal with the consequences of her actions. And they need some help at this gym, because whatever led to this situation, I cannot help but wonder what else is going on at the boxing gym and even within the association that needs to be addressed. Right? This is the evidence of something that is horribly wrong, without a doubt. But does this mean that this is just an isolated situation? If we go further into the video, let me just see where that is. We see this other young man, I think his name is Daryl, when Charles is in the gym. So see, there's Daryl there, peeping in the window, because Daryl, I guess, was trying to get in too. And I think this metal thing that Charles takes is a fence post or something. Yeah, that is some serious glass. Listen, that is hurricane force glass for sure. But Daryl is also peeping outside. He's trying to get into the gym. So look at what happens when Daryl eventually gets into the gym.
Just keep recording. And the police take forever to be here.
I don't think you can break through nothing.
You can't break through.
They think he couldn't break through, but he was determined. Siobhan makes a valid point. She said you can be banned from public property. Yes, and you can be banned from private public use property as well, like the grocery store parking lot. But normally there's a process by which that happens. I don't get to just tell you that you're banned. Well, it certainly depends on who I am and in what position and authority I have. But I do not think that Tracy has the authority to ban anyone without going through certain procedures.
Watch her. Go pussy clot. Watch her.
So he actually unlocked the door, right? So he damages government property, not just for the sake of damaging it to walk away, but he damages it in order to put a hole in the door and the glass to unlock the door so that he could go in and work out. Now, this is a man that's committed to his workout, child. Charles, I'll let you use my gym, which isn't getting any use, because you are a man who is dedicated to the cause of working out way more than most of us.
Let me tell you.
Oh, sorry. I think I've accidentally fast forwarded it a little bit too much. Let's just go forward a little bit here.
Literally.
Yes.
I'm on road.
Let me kind of hit the rewind button. 1 second. So this is Charles. He opens the door, right? So he's going to go at it again. Oops.
You can't break through.
Listen, can I just tell you that after breaking that glass, if that was me, I would have been like, whew, I got my workout in. I'm going to go home now. But he was committed to getting even more of a workout because that took a lot of force to be hitting the glass with that big rock, cinder block, whatever that was, and then to turn around and take a fence post to it. I would have been all peened up and sore.
Watch her. Go pussy clot. Watch her.
Don't fuck with me. I told you motherfuckers, no, to keep me in the fucking gym.
We'll see. The police is on its way, Charles.
I don't give a fuck about the police. Fuck you, want the police, bitch.
I know.
I'm going outside.
Huh? It's not about that, Dariel. When someone threatens you, you keep them out. There's a difference. There is a difference.
Okay, so this is where I do get a little bit confused because I think the young man's name is Dariel, but this is where he says something. I didn't quite catch what he said, but obviously he's not in agreement with what Tracy's doing. And she said, oh, that's not the point when someone threatens you. So now, based on the recording that we saw from Monday, you guys got to help me out here. Where was the threat? Where did he actually threaten her? He basically said no one's going to keep him out of the gym. But did I miss it? Do I need to go back again and listen to the threat? I didn't hear a threat, but again, maybe I missed something. But now her position is it's no longer about this post and being locked out of the gym because of what you said. It's because, oh, he has threatened me.
You are in my face. It's all recorded. The police is on its way, Charles.
I don't give a fuck about the police. Fuck you and the police, bitch.
I know.
So this now was a second camera, if you notice, catching the same part of the conversation, right? So Candy says Darielle wrote the post that she was talking about, okay? And he said that you don't own the gym. Thank you, Tracy. Let's continue listening.
Huh? It's not about that, Darielle. When someone threatens you, you keep them out. There's a difference. There is a difference. You are in my face. It's all recorded, Charles. It's all been on record. The police is on its way. The police is on the way. The ministry is on its way. Everybody's on the way. They are really on the way.
Call the number. I don't care for number.
There are kids outside. There are kids outside. Yeah. And there were kids in the parking lot when you were going on with your antics yesterday.
Because of you.
I don't care.
Okay. So she says there were kids in the parking lot when you're going on with your antics yesterday. Now, if Tracy knew that, why would she even start that conversation to begin with? Because she's the one who approached Charles outside. She's the one who followed him outside with her secret recording, with her camera on, and then allowed the situation, because she provoked him, go back to that very beginning of the recording, right? So Tracy is the one who took the conversation there and is now blaming him for, oh, well, the way you went on in the parking lot yesterday, there were kids there. Why would you even have that discourse with kids around? I'm a little bit confused by Tracy's behavior.
Here, I said to you,
who I could talk to. I'm a grown man, Tracy.
I'm a grown woman.
Who are you?
I'm a grown woman.
I didn't say we're going to you. How are you going to come tell me
who
I can talk to?
Anyways.
Who are you going to tell me who I can talk to?
So it goes back to, who are you to tell me who I can talk to? I'm a grown man. And she's obviously saying, well, I'm a grown woman too. Well, you're both acting like little children here. But anyway.
Who the fuck is you?
Anyways, I am Tracy Ann motherfucking Seymour. That's who the fuck I am.
You fucking
all right? I bet you coming out here. I ain't no damn sellout.
I bet you not.
You are. You are.
Let me tell you something.
You are ignorant.
I'm gonna do anything.
I wish you would touch me.
Okay. Now, those are fighting words. Anybody who's ever been in a fight, now don't be looking at me, because I've only been in one fight against Mike, and I can tell you that story because that has a little boxing twist to it as well. I've only been in one physical fight in my lifetime, and that was self-defense, folks. But there's certain words that even I know, right, that are fighting words. When someone says to you, I wish you would touch me. Why do people say that? Why do people say that when they know that they really don't want you to touch them? So he's getting a little bit closer. I think this is a young lady with the braids in the hair, decides to somehow position herself between him and Tracy and is kind of moving a little bit towards him. And he was like, what are you doing? You know, why are you, I'm not going to touch her. He actually says, I'm not going to touch her. It's kind of interesting given what we know about Tracy, her physique and everything, that anybody, especially another young lady, I'm not sure, I'm going to apologize up front because I don't know if that's actually a young lady or a man, because I guess young men wear braids now and whatever, but whoever that person is, that they decide to run a little interference with her between Charles and Tracy. I'm just like, I ain't getting knocked out for Tracy, first of all. And secondly, Tracy looks like she's a woman that could defend herself probably against anybody. But Charles says, what are you doing? I'm not going to touch her. And then she says, I wish you would put your hands on me. Of course you do, Tracy. Of course you do. And those words in that moment, exactly, Richard. She loses the case right there. Those are beyond provocative words, because I am telling you that in the streets where Charles comes from and where a lot of us come from, you say that to somebody, I wish you would put your hands on me. They're going to put their hands on you and they're going to make your wish come true. So Interesting choice of words. That reminds me of what episode of one of my shows that I watch on Bravo, one of the Housewives. Oh God, I can't remember which one it was. I want to say that it was Atlanta because those women are crazy. And they're always popping off. There was a similar situation like this where someone ended up grabbing one of the women and it was really bad. And it was the same thing where she said, put your hands on me. I wish you would hit me kind of thing. And she said, good, I'm going to make your wish come through today. And she grabbed that bitch and it was down. And when they went back and they reviewed it, it was so interesting to see how people afterwards, right, responded. Oh, yes, it was Potomac. It wasn't even Atlanta. It was Potomac with Monique Samuels. So she grabbed somebody a couple seasons ago, and Candace, now it's all coming back to me now. I'm a whole season behind, but she grabbed Candace and almost pulled off her wig because Candace did the same thing. She went up in her face and said, touch me, bitch. I want you to hit me. And she said, okay. And it was just popping off. So I'm just saying, if you don't want someone to touch you, don't taunt them and tell them to touch you. And don't say, I wish you would touch me. He didn't, but you have no idea probably how much restraint that would require in that moment.
That nigga do you anything? Ain't nobody afraid of you.
I'm waiting for that to pop off. I ain't afraid of you.
I told you motherfuckers, ain't nobody kill you. I'll come back here and burn this motherfucker to the ground. Anybody record that. Anybody try to keep Charles Edwards Whitaker out of this gym, I will come back here and I will burn you. You recording?
Yeah,
I will burn this motherfucker to the ground.
How old are you? How old are you?
Fuck you.
How old are you? How old are you?
All right. So again, Charles threatening to burn the facility down to the ground. It is a government facility. It is used to help at-risk children, etc. Thank you, LaToya. I'm glad I'm not the only one watching Potomac up in here. Yes, Tracy. Ooh, she snatched her. And listen, what's her name? Candace's wig was like that front door because that wig did not move. I don't know what kind of gorilla super glue she had on, but that wig didn't come off. And everybody's like, damn, girl. Because Monique, you could see Monique had a good handful of hair. And that wig stood up like that front door. I shall not be moved. It was like, whoa. So, yes, him saying he's going to burn down the facility, that is so wrong. That was another show, King. The one I'm talking about just happened a couple seasons ago with Candace and Monique. And Candace did the exact same thing. I wish you would drag me. And she said, really? Because this is the second time Monique said she was going to drag her. And this time Monique just lost it. Charles, 1,000% wrong for saying that you're going to burn down the building. I mean, come on. You can be banned from the building and you can't be saying that you're going to burn down the building. So there's a lot of charges, unfortunately, that Charles will have to deal with as a result of these threats. But then listen to what Tracy actually says right after that, right?
I will come back here and I will burn you. Recording?
Yeah,
I will burn this motherfucker to the ground.
How old are you? How old are you?
Fuck you.
How old are you?
Right.
How old are you?
Motherfucker, did
How
you be
old are
building
you?
this?
Yeah.
How old are you? They're kids literally.
So the repetitiveness, how old are you? How old are you? You're immature. You're a child is now what she's trying to say to him. So she's gone really deep on a personal level on a number of different things. You notice that a lot of the comments that he says, now we're going to analyze what people say. His comments like, nobody can ban me from this gym, not even you. I don't care if it's the police or the queen or whatever. He doesn't really, yeah, he called her a bitch, but everybody gets called a bitch at some point. He doesn't really attack her personally and dig at her the way that she does him, right? So talking to him about he's a boy, you're black, you're this, who the F are you? To me, there's a lot of like personal digs coming from Tracy towards him that really made me go, what's going on here, Tracy? His comments are more like overarching. She was getting kind of personal. Like, how old are you? and then saying that multiple times to him, implying that he's childish.
Outside watching you go on with your antics. You're supposed to be a goddamn role model. Instead, you look like a goddamn animal, an imbecile.
An animal, an imbecile. Now, the man has walked away from you, Tracy. Why are you continuing to have a conversation with him? This is my question. Why are you continuing to talk to him? You've already said you've called the police. This goes back to my point about when we're trying to de-escalate a situation. When you are trying to de-escalate a situation, you don't continue to talk to the person's back and yell at them across the gym, because now the man has walked off. He's gone behind the, what do you call it? They're behind the boxing ring. And this girl is still talking to him. Why? Exactly, Ling Ling. She's adding a lot of gas. I mean, at this point, he's already damaged the door. You said you're waiting on the police. If you want to keep recording in case something else pops off, but just sit down and shut up is what my recommendation would have been. Why she keeps talking to him, I have no clue. And she continues.
You learn. Everybody else
You learn. You will learn. Because we're pressing charges now. You're an idiot and a fool, Charles. Instead of you doing something for this damn gym, you have all this mouth. Not once have you picked up a mop or a broom in this gym.
All right. So now we're popping off a little bit more. So now she starts to talk about, again, making it very personal. Oh, you know, you want to talk about what you've done around here to build boxing. When did you ever pick up a mop or a broom in this gym? And not only asking her or asking him that question, but obviously now she's clapping her hand. You know, when you get a little bit into a discussion, you're going to be like, I told you, da, 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 da. Do that to your children and see how they respond. Right? Again, why was that necessary, Tracy? I'm just trying to understand where you were coming from. Picking up a mop and a broom doesn't mean that you haven't contributed to boxing. I don't know. Do they not have someone to actually clean the facility? Like, why is that an important thing for her to be hyper-focused on? So I'm getting some of your messages. Just give me a second. I'm going to get to those WhatsApp messages because, you know.
Not once.
None of you.
Not once.
None of
you don't come in
none
here
of you
to
have
help
contributed
anyone
what I've
in
contributed
this
this.
gym. Not
You
one
are
of you has
none of
contributed.
you.
If y'all want to see a change, y'all asses should have been become
None of
board
you.
members.
None
But
of
y'all
you.
motherfuckers
None of you.
keep coming.
Okay. So again, the clapping continues. The pointing in his face is now starting up. The MF word just popped out of her mouth, and it continues to escalate.
None of you has contributed.
Running your mouth, talking about this, that. If you wanted to do something.
None of you.
Now, look at the hand movements, folks. You got to break this shit down because this is some serious aggression coming from her. So let's look at this. Let's analyze this carefully.
If y'all want to see a change, y'all asses should have been become board members. But y'all motherfuckers keep coming in this gym, running your mouth, talking about this, that. If you wanted to do something, you should have come in and been on the board. I ain't fucking touching you.
All right. Now look at this, folks. Not only is she popping off with her hands in his face, right? He then starts to back up. Did you guys see him backing up from her when she was coming towards him in his face? And then on top of that, this other, like I said, I don't know if that's a man or woman. Forgive me. I'm really not trying to be funny, but I don't know what, let's just say it's a young man for argument's sake. I don't know. Now comes in between them again and trying to get in Charles' face. Charles is actually trying to walk away. At this point now, we see the new director of sports, Mr. Kurt Hines, come into the mix. And look at what happens here.
None of you have contributed what I've
Get your
contributed.
black ass out this gym, you
Nobody
fucking
let me
fool.
out of this motherfucker. I'm telling them.
You
Nobody.
come out this gym. You're gonna come
No,
out this
bet you
gym.
did. I will
Bet
come
you.
out. Listen,
Bet you today.
As there is a God
I
in
don't
heaven.
care, Charles.
Look at who he is actually. Look at it carefully, folks. Look at who Kurt is actually putting his hands on to back them up. It's actually not Charles, because Charles was trying to walk away. He might have still been talking at this point, But in fact, Charles was walking away, and Kurt is putting his hands on Tracy to say, Tracy, you need to back up now. Because you see, this is where, Robin, you're so funny. Next episode of Box and Y is popping off. This is where now anybody with a little bit of sense could see the next thing that's going to happen here is somebody's going to get smacked down. Kurt shows up. He's the hero in his nice blue shirt. And he's like, Tracy, I'm gonna push you out of this situation, because if Tracy had any sense, she would see exactly what was gonna pop off next. Thank God it didn't come to that. But look at Kurt's behavior in relation to who he tries to physically back up.
You are any government authority try to keep me on this gym. I will come back here.
You're an imbecile. Don't touch her. Don't you dare put your hands on her. Don't touch none of my boxes in here, boy.
So I don't know why she started talking about him touching a boxer. I don't know if that person that I can't identify if it's male or female, if that's a boxer. But now she's again calling the man an imbecile. Now listen, I don't know about you all, but there's a lot of insults that you can throw at people. And there's some that are very, very low. Now, to call a boxer an imbecile or stupid, I think we all kind of know where that comes from, because some of them, because of the fact that they box and they get a lot of licks in the head, that has been proven that they're not really the smartest because of that. Now, Charles is actually a really bright and smart person, so that doesn't apply to him, but to even say that to him is a serious insult. And she continues to say it. You're an imbecile. You're an imbecile. You're stupid. So even after, again, Charles is starting to walk away, the insults continue. Again.
Don't touch her. Hold on. Don't touch her.
Oh, I guess that is a female. I guess that is a female, because she said don't touch her. So again, I don't know what point he touches her, but this girl, let me just rewind a little bit. She was all in the mix, right? So she was putting herself in between Charles. So I don't know. Let's just watch this bit.
Any government authority try to keep me on this gym.
You see, she's trying to put her hand in front of him. Look at there. He's not touching her. So when she says, don't you dare touch her, he's not touching her. She has got her hands up like this, trying to run interference and keep a distance between him, Kurt, and Tracy. And Kurt is trying to keep Tracy back, but I don't see him touching her. So why would Tracy then say that? Like I said, thank you, Killa. I really honestly couldn't see that. I'm not getting a full frontal, so I can't see what's going on there. But yeah, Charles isn't touching her. So now in the middle of this humongous conversation, the question now becomes, why is Tracy saying, don't touch one of my boxers, don't touch her? But there's no indication that Charles has done that. So I'm a hella confused here. Am I the only one that's confused by that comment? Because if you're not being touched, then why say that? Again, that seems like a attempt to escalate something. Because you know, when you touch someone, now all gloves are coming off, right? If someone were to touch me, yeah, I'm going to smack you down at that point, because you have really, that's, you know, to me, that's self-defense. I'm not about fighting, and I'm not about this kind of foolishness in the streets. But when you touch me, you're going to get touched back. And that's just how it works, right? Thank you, Balika. He says, good analysis. In my view, she also has committed offenses. Of course she has. Abusive language, etc. She should be fired. This is not the way to manage. Not only should she be fired, but really and truly, when you look at this situation, she has committed criminal offenses as well. So if we're going to be charging people criminally, folks, Tracy got to be in court too, right next to Charles.
Don't touch none of my boxes in here, boy. Don't touch her.
Again, calling him a boy.
You put your hands on one of these girls again, I will break your fucking hand, boy.
All right. So that threat there, if you put your hands on one of these girls again, when did Charles actually put his hand on a girl? I never saw it, Tracy. The girl was trying to run interference, trying to protect you. And first of all, let me just say this. As a big back, hard back woman that you claim that you are, you should have never allowed that young lady, because she looks like she's fairly young, to be trying to get in the middle of you and Charles and to run interference. I would have told that young lady, you go sit down in the corner. Maybe you hold the camera, because I don't know who was holding the camera. You go sit down in the corner. This is me and Charles, because Charles is going to knock somebody out. I'm definitely not going to allow him to knock out one of my student boxers or young girls or whatever. So why were you even allowing her to run interference for you? I just don't get. Like, you need to have a conversation with her. Honey, you back up. Because if anything's going to pop off here and things are going to go from bad to worse, I definitely don't want Charles touching you. You don't address Charles touching her, which he didn't, by saying to him, oh, don't you touch her. Don't you ever touch one of my girls up in here again, or I'm going to break your effing arm. Whoa, 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 Tracy. First of all, he didn't touch anybody. Secondly, that is a threat if I ever heard one. Now, it's a conditional threat, and I'm going to explain to you how conditional threats work here in a second. They're easily defended, because with a conditional threat, it's like me saying, oh yeah, I'm going to kick your ass if there's a full moon and, you know, the moon man, Dwayne Seymour, is walking on it. The day that happens, I'm going to kick your ass. Well, that's never going to happen. If that condition isn't met or can't be met, then that's not really a threat. You know what I'm saying? It's like a conditional threat isn't something that any real person is going to be afraid of. But the point that I'm trying to make here is, why is she now accusing him of putting his hands on someone when he actually didn't? Just wrong. I guess she needed some protection.
You want me to know 50 cents?
Okay, so Lord have mercy. What an analysis here today. This whole thing gives me a headache. He leaves the gym at that point. The police are then called. So the remainder of the footage is where the police have been called. And he is obviously very, very agitated at this point. And the police are trying to take him into custody and trying to get him to calm down. And I got to tell you, given the length of this video and how long this has been going on for, the logical question for a lot of you is, what took the police so long? Heaven forbid it was a real emergency. Yes, child, Leanna, I legit have a headache, but let me drink some of my tea. Today, folks, I'm having some green tea with purple acai blueberry, whatever the heck that means. But this whole situation is just a hot mess beyond. So when the police come, those poor police officers, they always get the brunt of it, because by the time they show up, everybody's pissed off, everybody's agitated. And yes, it did take them what seems like a really long time. But keep in mind that the first portion of that video was actually from Monday. So when you watch it in its entirety, separate the 2 days, because that first bit with her in the parking lot with him, that was Monday. Then the rest of it was Tuesday. But still, even if you discard that, it seems to have taken them a really long time. You're like, where are the police? I mean, the police station is right in Georgetown. Like, why would it be taking them so long to get there? Guess they had other emergencies that they needed to be tending to at the coffee shop. I don't know. But this is a typical thing with the police. Yeah, you would have thought that would have been police close to the school, because God knows they're always going there getting drugs off of those children with pot brownies and whatever else. But thank you, Anne, and all of you who are commenting. Like I said, everyone's going to have a comment on this, obviously, and people are going to feel differently about this situation. So Barik says, why did Mr. Hides, who's Tracy's boss, insert himself in a manner with authority, then approach Charles to go outside and address the situation sensibly? No one addressed this situation all that well. I think in the moment, Kurt did what he could. because at least once Charles walked away, he was able to get Charles outside. But I want you to pay very close attention to when Kurt inserted himself in the situation, who he put his hands on to pull them back. It actually wasn't Charles. And I think that says a lot about who in the moment Kurt subconsciously, we're going to analyze the behavior here, who he subconsciously saw as the aggressor in that moment. And it wasn't Charles Whitaker. Isn't that interesting? Kurt is a man, not quite as tall as Charles, but Kurt, I guess, could hold his own. And where he felt the threat was coming from, obviously based on his actions and what he did, wasn't from Charles, because he wasn't putting his hand and pushing Charles back or holding Charles back. He was holding Tracy back. Now, let me tell you guys a little bit about my experience with aggression and the one little fight that I had in high school, child. You're going to find this story so interesting. So, in high school, I was actually a very good student on the honor roll. I hated math, but, I tried my best with the subject. So I think when I got to like trigonometry, I was like, who in the real world needs trigonometry? I am not taking this class. I'm done. I did algebra 1. I did algebra 2. Like, give me a break here. I don't need trigonometry. Like, I'm not going to be an engineer. So anyway, I enjoyed some of the other sciences. Social sciences was my thing. Biology, I enjoyed, except I don't like dissecting stuff. So dissecting frogs wasn't really my thing. But there was a guy named Mike who was in my biology class. That was the only class I had with him, because that was the only non-AP class I had. And I think this would have been I was taking advanced placement classes in year 12. So this is my last year of high school. And so in the US, you have different levels of courses. So you have like the regular course, then you have the honors level, and then you can do AP, which is advanced placement. The difference between honors and AP is advanced placement. At the end of the course, you get to take an examination, and depending on your grade in the exam, you can then have that count towards college credit. So basically, they're teaching it like at a college or university level, because you actually get, once you sufficiently prove yourself on the examination, you get college and university credits for it. So I was all about, listen, I'm a poor student. I'm going to be going to university, and I got to find a way to pay for university. So I'm like applying for scholarships and all this sort of stuff. I told you guys I was still an international student. So, that was all kind of money coming my way. And so I was already thinking ahead, trying to give myself a little bit of an advance, because as many credit as I can go into in college, less courses I have to take saves me money. That's what I'm all about, right? So I was very, very studious. Like, I got my act together. Middle school, I was kind of like, not so much so. But by high school, I understood what was at stake. And I'm like, Sandy, get your ish together. This is your life now. This is your life on the line. Academically, you got to perform, blah, blah, blah. So biology, I was in a regular class. It wasn't even an honors class. It was just regular biology. So here I am in biology, and there's this kid named Mike who used to ride my ass. Like, you guys talk about bullying. What he did was he was constantly bullying me. And back in those days, bullying wasn't such a hot topic. No one was talking about it. Nobody was making an issue. You were just picked on. That's what we called it. You're being picked on, and it is what it was. And you kind of try to deal with it. So I complained to my biology teacher a couple of times about Mike. And you know how it goes. You complain, it goes in one ear and out the other. So to be fair to the biology teacher, he had somewhat listened to me, and he actually moved Mike. So he put me in front of the class and like moved Mike somewhere else in the classroom. Because before, he always used to like sit right by me, and the teacher said, nope, you can't sit by her. Sandra, you come up front. Mike, you stay in the back or wherever you want to be. Don't sit anywhere near her. So one day we were having midterm exams, and here comes Mike with his usual shenanigans. So we sat our exams, and we come outside, and I'm walking down the hall, and Mike walks up. He was behind me actually, and I was done walking away. And again, I'm telling you, you got to be careful when you approach people. And he was saying all kind of nonsense, and I'm doing my best to ignore him. Now, keep in mind, I'm a teenager, so I don't have the resiliency that I might have now. So I was like, I'm going to just ignore Mike. And he was yakking. And then at one point, Mike says to me, oh, bitch, did you hear me? Why are you ignoring me? And I was like, oh my God, is he talking to me? I was so taken aback. I was like, so then I turn around, I'm like, are you talking to me? You know, you call me the B word. Are you talking to me? And he says, yes, I'm talking to you. And he called me the B word again. And then he slaps me. And I was like, oh, Jesus, Lord Jehovah. All I can tell you is, I don't know what happened next, because the next thing I knew, I smacked him back. Because like I said, don't put your hands on me. You can use your words and your words might get you far. But the second you touch me, then we got a problem. So when Mike slapped me, I punched him back in the face. And then we were on the ground rolling around like two little teenage kids fighting. Now, thank God that day I actually had on jeans, because, you know, I wear skirts and dresses a lot, because Lord knows what would have been visible. But the Lord knows best. In the words of Juliana, the Lord orchestrated that situation where I was wearing some jeans. And then, you know, the teachers, everybody's like, fight, fight, fight. You know how it is in high school. Everybody comes out. Teachers come and pull us apart. And it was a big thing. So in the fight, I got a little bit of an upper hand because I think I had some decent nails at the time. So Mike's face got all scratched up. The reason why I'm telling you this story is there's a little boxing inside joke, right? So you remember Mike Tyson? Everybody knows Mike Tyson. You remember he has had some anger issues in his lifetime. And this was around the same time that him and his ex-wife, they were going through a divorce, whatever. Robin Givens, I think was her name, Gibbons, I think, were having issues. I remember there's some physical altercation with them and whatever. So poor Mike, after this incident with us, he actually started getting teased at school. Because everybody's like, oh, Mike, as in Mike Tyson, you got your butt beat again by a woman. Because I think there was something where Mike's ex-wife like defended herself or whatever. And so that's my boxing story as it relates to like the only fight that I've ever had was with this guy named Mike. And then after that, they started talking about, oh, Mike Tyson, you got your behind beat by a girl. How embarrassing is that? The whole situation, folks, is really, really sad. It really, really is. It breaks my heart to see that Charles lost his cool and that he damaged government property. He will have to deal with the consequences of that and of other things that he may have said and done. I think Tracy also needs to be reprimanded, and she has some consequences that she needs to deal with. There are people, folks, who at the end of the day have seen this video. Obviously, it's gone viral. Children have seen it. Parents have seen it. And this does not build confidence in any of these so-called professionals at the boxing gym. It makes you wonder as a parent that if I'm sending my child to the boxing gym to work under these people, what is the situation here? Like, what are they going to be exposed to? Right? So let me just read a few comments that came in on WhatsApp. So someone says, you tell her, Charles, where was she when Dalmain and Charles and so many others contributed so much to the gym? And then use the bitch word. When all of the hard work to build a gym is done, now they want to come with their bureaucratic boards and run it how they feel is their own personal benefit. I don't remember if I told you, but I used to box from 1983 to 1985. Dalmain got a warehouse from Mr. Crichton and permission for us to use the warehouse for all of us youths. And that was someone sharing that as their experience. Thank you so much for that compliment. Someone says, good morning, Sandy. Please keep up the good work. I told you in person before that, as you're aware, that none of us could please everyone, but believe me, the masses appreciate the great job that you do overall, bring the local, regional, and highlights of international occurrences in lightning real fast time, unbiased, cold hard truth. Congratulations. Another comment says, let's go to the bottom of who this Tracy is. She definitely provoked him, and it's unfortunate he didn't handle the burning hidden issues he had with them before they escalated. I want to say who she is in the grand scheme of things, and why is she controlling the gym? So a lot of people are asking that question. Someone else said, not saying that he's right for breaking down the door, but she pointing her finger in his face. Violence against women is never a good look, but some women take it too far and push their fingers up in men's faces and heads. I agree, Sandra. Tracy should have told the young woman to sit down. That was one comment. This other person says, that's how Tracy is. She be like that on the port also. I seen her do something similar to people working with her before COVID. Such a disgust she is. So lots of comments. She's asking how old he is, and there are kids in the gym. Really? Did she think of her actions and 5-pound words in front of them? Shaking my head. And her black ass when she's 10 shades blacker. Oh, someone had to share the episode of Potomac. Oh no, this is Portia Dragon Kenya. Wrong one. Wrong one. So another person says, good morning, Sandy. I feel so bad for Charles. Thank you as usual. You did a great job. Like you said, these people don't read and definitely don't understand. Even if they read and watch the video, they are still silly. Oh, that's another message. By the way, something happened at Doctors Express this morning. I think they may have been robbed. There's yellow tape and police there, but I can't seem to get a photo of that. Hi, Sandy. The boxing gym thing is a mess, but the manager in that gym is using the gym for her personal interests. There's a man that is her best friend, and they have an arrangement to train his clients in the gym almost 7 days a week. I'm not sure whether they can do this or a government facility can be used for personal trainers, but just be aware. Charles Whitaker saying the gym is being used for their personal interests is not a lie. Hey, someone wanted to send this to you, so I'm just forwarding it. Okay, yeah, got it. So that is, I think, what Charles was referring to when he talks about personal interest. Someone else says, recording him without his knowledge is criminal. She needs to go. My nephew goes to the gym after school and never wants to go now. We know why. Just imagine how she bullies the kids. So I certainly hope not. Okay, so thank you so much. This is where, again, you get yourself in a little bit of trouble when you don't fact check, Tracy. Someone just shared this comment. So let me just pull this up so that you guys can see this one. Someone just shared this with me. So the comment that she refers to in the first day, which was Monday, about him making, Daryl actually says, Daryl Ebanks, that's the young man who was in there saying, does she own the gym or something like that? He said that post that she's talking about, I made that post on social media, not Charles. If anyone wants to see the post, it's on my wall. It's just talking about the truth and what's happening in the boxing gym. And Charles made a comment on my post, and that's all. Wow. So you see, when I'm telling you the devil's in the details, folks. Now, why on earth would she, let's look up Daryl. How does he spell his name? D-A-R, yeah. Okay, Daryl Ebanks. So why would she approach Charles Whitaker about a post when Charles ain't had nothing to do with the post? So it looks like you have to be Daryl's friend to see his posts, which, let me see if I'm his friend on this account. I don't know. I have a couple thousand Facebook friends, so I don't even know who's who. So again, that makes it even more incredibly interesting that why would she approach Charles at all? I mean, it was bad enough approaching him about a post, but now it was even his post. So you're accusing him about something that didn't actually happen because he didn't make the post. So you could see how Charles might have been like, what are you talking about? I'm just saying. There's a whole lot of craziness going on here that don't make no sense. All right, Daryl. Let's see if I can see. But Daryl says he did the post and Charles simply commented on it. Oh, I'm not friends with Daryl. Shall I send him a friend invite? Yes, let's do that. Anyway, thank you so much for sharing that via WhatsApp. That adds another layer of complexity to the situation. Oh, here's the post she's referring to. Got it. Okay, now we got the post. Thank you all so much. You guys are like my co-host. You're like, it's tea time, Sandy. Let's get the whole truth and nothing but the cold, hard truth. So let's have a look at the post in question that made all this pop off. Thank you very, very much for sending this. Cayman boxing has become a joke. People are just in it for the picture. Now we have lost 4 coaches in less than 4 years just because. We need someone that loves the sport, not someone that is there for their personal benefits. So, okay. And that's a problem. How is that insulting to the board? Okay. Let's read Charles' comment now to put it all in context. Charles replies and says, people are conducting their own business. Those who are running programs now aren't interested in the facility being used for what it was built for. Now, what we see is select few. The vision of Dunstan, Dalmeen, Ebanks has been cast to the side. It's now a money-making business for some. Unfortunately, like everything else in it has been hijacked by foreigners. I'm sure the new coach will be one that looks like them. Like everything else in this country, they come to take over and then it says more, but we can't read it. All right. So without reading the rest, I can't see where he made any comments about the board themselves. I mean, obviously, I guess they do the hiring. So indirectly, he's speaking about them. But again, it wasn't over the top. It wasn't disrespectful. It was his opinion. And God knows on this program, we fight for people in this country to have an opinion, to be able to say what they want to say. DJ Yo-Yo says, look at the video, police walking with their sticks on their hand, afraid of using it. I tell you, they just a joke, only good for tickets. I think that's the video with Charles. So yes, the video does continue. He agrees that this gym has been used for personal interest for a long time. I know that by my own experience as I was in charge to train at a government facility. Okay. El Ray is asking, would you rather them use guns? In heated situations, restraint is always a good thing. Yes. And we saw no restraint in what we've seen thus far. Anne says the third side of the story is coming out soon. He screenshot his post under your post, Sandy. Oh, he did? Okay. Haven't seen that, but thank you, Jasara, because he commented. Okay, got it. You see now why I said there's a third side. I'm waiting to hear about and what is more to come. Gregory, thank you. Maina says there's some kind of personal vendetta here. She accused him of at least 2 things, one of which is basically upsetting gym attendees. Many trainers use the gym for group and personal training. In return, these trainers make a donation or payment for using the gym. He did not call Tracy. He did not call Tracy name either. It's just a hot mess. All 2 needs to be banned from the gym, says Vanessa. Rated with the most decent coaches ever. So there's some issue apparently about coaches and them going and coming. What a hot mess. An elderly viewer says, watching, You are sure ruining my mini work morning. Sorry, you're going to be able to get to work shortly after. Eden Hurlston, thank you so much. There's a protest today about the mangroves at noon on the old glass house building. So I will post that up for you. Not a problem. So, oh my gosh, this is just a hot mess, folks. Like I said from the onset this morning, I take no, I'm shocked by the entire situation, says someone. Yeah, listen, all of us need to go to conflict resolution school and learn how to de-escalate a situation. You know, it's important more and more as we grow as a community that we learn these things. And certainly no one is perfect. Lots of mistakes were made here by both parties. And I think they need to be addressed. As I've always said, things don't just resolve themselves. You need to communicate, address it. There will have to be some apologies here and some amends be made. It looks like there will also be some criminal charges brought, most likely just against Charles, because that's how the world works. It's just crazy. It really, really is just crazy and very, very unfortunate that this has happened. As Caymanians, we got to do better. We have to do better. I mean, this doesn't make Charles look good. It doesn't make Tracy look good. It doesn't make the Boxing Association look good. It doesn't make the boxing gym look good. Nobody walks away from this looking good. Caymanians, we don't look good, right? Because I'm sure in some circles today, some of our expat friends are like, you see them Caymanians not got no sense. They don't have no sense, none at all. Yes, they're savages, absolute savages. Oh my God. Meanwhile, in America, they're killing people every single day in savage manner, but they're not gonna look at that. They're gonna be calling us savages. Let us try to get it together is what I can suggest. Obviously, we're gonna continue following this story. There's been a lot of interest in it. I actually wanted to talk about some parliamentary board stuff today, but hello. After this popped off yesterday, you know, we adjusted the schedule and I thought we needed to have this discussion. We have an issue with children fighting and not knowing how to communicate and not knowing how to work with conflict. They have no concept about conflict resolution because we don't teach that in schools. And then we have adults who are showing our children, well, here you go. This is the behavior that you're going to see. Imagine how many high school kids right now are disappointed this morning, watching this ridiculousness and going, if the adults are behaving like this, when kids in school fighting and popping off and all this kind of stuff, is that who we are as a society? It's beyond a sad situation. Gregory says somebody needs to be the bigger person. We all can't act like picnic. It's tough. We will definitely speak with Charles. Tracy, if you want to come on and explain your behavior as well, please do. We won't have you on at the same time because we know how to de-escalate a situation. So oftentimes when we have one person telling a story and somebody else saying, no, that's not true, we don't invite them on at the same time because we're not trying to make this an episode of Real Housewives of Cayman or whatever. But I invite you both to tell your stories. What happened here? What is this all about? People kind of feel like there's more to this, even than what the videos have shown. King is like shade. He can spot shade a mile away. But yes, folks, this is a hot mess of a situation. And we need to address it. You know, we've got people in this community who look up to perhaps both of these individuals. I know for sure. Charles has people looking up to him. And so as a community, let's try to have some healing here and see what we can do. A lot of people do feel like Tracy's a bully and that she provokes people. People have said, you know, she talked to him like she was Dart at Cayman Bay. That's government owned. How she handled him from the start was unprofessional. She went up to him in front of people recording him and talking down to him. She could have asked him to meet him in the office. So definitely a very, very valid point. I agree with that 1,000%, that she really popped off in a way that she shouldn't have. Someone else said, Mario Vibes Time. Not sure if it's his. Oh, Lord. Him again. Anyway, that's all I can say about this at this time. I don't know what else to say. A lot of people have had a lot to say about Tracy and her behavior. But somebody says that Tracy is trying to act like she's not Black, like she didn't get that memo. Poor Tracy. Anyway, my brain is just like, what else to say? Hot mess. And unfortunately, yes, these stories are the ones that make Mall Road and that are going to get 10,000 views and got people popping off like they crazy. And it is very, very sad. Barry, thank you so much for tuning in. Oh, you and K-Man? He said this is a teachable moment, despite it being sad. Actions have consequences, but the world does not end. It was a situation that was brewing and needed to be addressed before it got to this. Tracy felt empowered to do what she did. Maybe she wasn't given the authority, but surely that got to the board on the Mall Road and they failed to address it appropriately. Caesar's in agreement. Her management skills are very lacking. I did not see any management skills, not at all. Jason says it's so disgraceful to see Caymanians treating each other this way. Where is the unity? Well, in case you missed that memo, we are the most disunified or disjointed community in the world, as far as I'm concerned, and it's really quite unfortunate. We all have a role to play, I think, in trying to bring this community together. Thank you, Barry. I was wondering if you were here, or if you're still in BVI. Let's, as the kindergarten teacher said, let us be a little bit kinder. I feel like I need to pull out my book here today. All I Need to Know I Learned in Kindergarten. You guys need to read this book. It's a simple read, and it was given to me in 1991, May of 1991, by I want to say this teacher was 1991, May. This was high school. And I want to say, what subject did she teach me? I can't even remember. I got to go look her up. But anyway, this is what she said back in the day. I loved, look at my little handwritten note. Oh, such memories. She said, Sandy, you are a lovely, intelligent, wonderful person. We just need positive messages today. I wish you the best of everything, ... And I'm grateful you came my way. Oh, a teacher said that. Isn't she the sweetest thing? I can't even remember what subject I had her for. I think it was one of the social sciences, because I loved, like I said, she might have been my English teacher. Child, I need to dig out some notes and see. But it starts off, it says, for all of those who love learning enough to teach. She is a teacher after all. So this is one of those books. I don't even know if it's still in publication, but it's a simple read, but it's so incredibly powerful. All I Need to Know I Learned in Kindergarten. And it's all about just, little inspirational things. Share everything is like, I don't know if this is the first one. Hold on. Yes, it might be. It says share everything, right? Just about sharing in life. Play fair. Don't hit people. We learned that in kindergarten. Don't hit people. Put things back where you found them. Clean up your own mess. There's a lot of mess that needs to be cleaned up here today. Don't take things that aren't yours. Say you're sorry when you hurt someone. Some apologies need to happen. Wash your hands before you eat. Flush. This is like the best little book. I don't know if you guys have ever seen this. This is the best little book. Warm cookies and cold milk are good for you. Oh, thank you, Jesus. Live a balanced life. Learn some and think some and draw and paint and sing and dance and play and work every day some. Take a nap every afternoon. Wish I could. When you go out into the world, watch out for traffic. Hold hands and stick together. Caymanians, we need to stick together. Oh, this is such a lovely, lovely, lovely. And then it's like just a few more pages and then that's it. Everything I needed to know in life, I learned in kindergartens. And the last pages, and it says, and it is still true. No matter how old you are, when you go out into the world, it is best to hold hands and stick together. Why can't we just all get along? Let me put that back. I haven't read that in years. But why can't we just all get along? Seriously. Anyway, folks, it is what it is. We will certainly get to the bottom of this even more than we have today. I got work to do. I went to a lady's house yesterday and, you know, I told you guys that we are rolling out these streaming devices. Actually, let me show you what they look like. Hold on one second. Big shout out to our donor. I'm just going to show you guys. So I have said to you guys that the person obviously has to have internet. I can't help them with that part. But once they have internet, then, you know, they, this is what it looks like. Let me just show you. This is it, like a little stick. And then we program it and set it up and everything for them. It has a power cable, remote and everything. So I went to a lady yesterday in one of her outer districts and unfortunately her TV is shot. I plugged it in, I'm like, what's wrong with your TV? But the TV was donated. She's like in her 80s. You know, a lot of our elderly community members don't really have much of an income. So her TV was shot. She said it was donated by the church. And so I don't know if it's ever worked. It still has the plastic on it, but it just, I don't think she had anything to connect it to. So she probably didn't realize that like the screen is all wonky and, you know, I was like, oh gosh. So I have to go back to see her again today. So that's at the top of my list. And then I actually have an appointment with a paying customer, but I'm going to sort out my, my lady first. And, so what I did yesterday was I took a little bit of money out of my budget and I went and bought her TV. Same 32-inch. I made contact at one of the local electronics store and I said, here's the situation. I'm buying this out of pocket for this elderly lady. Are you able to give me a discount? And the manager was happy to give me a few dollars off. So I'm going to take her TV this morning, her new TV, take the old one that just needs to be recycled. I don't know what you can do with it. Get her TV set up and get her all sorted out. So if you know of anyone who's an elder member of the community, again, they have to have internet and obviously a TV because I can't go around buying TVs for everybody. The heart might be willing, but the pocketbook is going to be like, irks. So please let me know. This is an initiative to try to allow them to keep in contact with the news. They can watch this show. They can watch Crosstalk. They can watch GIS and all that kind of stuff. And I think that, you know, although people are older, that doesn't mean that they don't want to know what's going on. They want to keep in contact with people too. They get lonely, they get bored, they want to see what's happening in the world and they can sit back and watch a little something, right? So we had the devices, we received a donation for that. I paid the duty and everything else. Like I couldn't even be bothered trying to deal with customs and explain to them why it should really be duty free because by the time I did, I was like, you know what, just pay the duty. Government obviously needs the money. But we did have someone who made a donation towards the purchasing of the first batch. And then I'm donating my time and going out to the various homes and sitting down with people and doing the installation. So I have one more to do. Well, I have to do this lady who was supposed to be yesterday. And then there's a lady in North Side that I'm supposed to do. And then there's one in Newlands. So we have a few people now. So refer elderly people if you're a caregiver or you are their niece or children or whatever, link me. Aliano says she's too dominant. Can you watch Black Ink Crew? Well, message me and I can tell you what's available, because you can get like cable channels on it. That isn't exactly what I'm doing for these members of our elderly community. But the focus for them is local content. But you can pretty much get anything on these devices that you want. So that's all I got, folks. Thank you so much, Magdalena. She says, I like this version of you. Oh, you're so sweet. Everybody is very, we all have different sides to personality. And that's why a lot of times I try to give people the benefit of the doubt. Like, even if they are the biggest bitch in the world, I'm like, I'm sure that person has a moment when they're nice. You know, there are people that they love, and there are people that love them. And so, you know, just hold hands and be kinder and gentler to each other some days. Very unfortunate. Maybe we'll reach out to Daryl as well, and we'll have a word with him about his post and kind of what's been going on at the boxing gym. I think people need answers and people need to know. The thing about this whole situation is we can't just sweep it under the rug. Like somebody said to me yesterday, Cayman is so good, Caymanians and everybody here is so good at sweeping stuff under the rug, that our rug for this island is massive. And we have swept a lot under the rug. And we can't continue to do that. You know, Andrea, you can message me on 324-1612. What's up, me? So yes, I think that, you know, we need to address this issue. We need to find out exactly what the backstory is here. And if there are people who go to the boxing gym that are unclear about the rules and who can use it and who can pay and whatever, let's just put it all out there, folks. Let's just put it all out there. Here's somebody else. The boxing gym is a mess, but the managers in gym is using it. I think we read this already. Yeah, we read that one already in the other phone. So let's get it together. Okay. Hug somebody. That's all I can tell you. Give somebody a hug today. Good people. Andrea, Barry, Alice, Liasa, Aliano, every one of you, Magdalene, Richie, Vanessa, thank you guys so much for tuning in. You make CMR what it is, which is the best show in the Cayman Islands. You guys have a wonderful day. I'm praying for Charles. I'm going to try to go to court today. If I know exactly what time he might be appearing, I will try to go to court. You know, Charles is always a supported person in this community. And I think we need to, at the very minimum, give him an opportunity to explain exactly what popped off yesterday, what happened, and listen to him, if nothing else, to what he has to say. You want to give that opportunity to everyone. You guys have a beautiful day, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you for tuning in to another edition of The Cold Hard Truth. Make sure to check Facebook for showtimes and more information and the latest news at CaymanMarlRoad.com. Subscribe to our IG and Facebook pages to get the latest happenings.